But now, once we have the subnet, let's creating the servers. To create the servers, we're going to compute, that menu, create compute, instances. Okay, we're in the compartment database, and now let's create instance, and we're gonna call this as demo03, which I'm calling this as a I'll just call this demo, call this db01. Okay, now the placement. Oracle Cloud provides the multiple availability domain depending on the region, if the region have multiple availability domain available. Now, what is availability domain? Availability domain is independent data center. There is some areas, some region which have one availability domain, some region have 3 availability domain. And using the availability domain combination, you can build a highly available infrastructure which is independent from the failures in specific high availability in specifically availability domain. Now in San Jose, let's see what we have. Okay, in San Jose we have just one availability domain, and each availability domain has a 3-fold domain. Now in the what is the fold domain? Fold domain is the dedicated area which is independent with the power and network infrastructure from each other. Okay, that even if you have, like for example here, where we are in San Jose and we have just one availability domain, which in this availability domain we have 3-fold domains, and putting the servers in one server in each fold domain create a high availability network. Because if Oracle is doing some maintenance in the fold domain 1, server in fold domain 2 is still working. Right? Now they bring up the fold domain 1, now those 2 servers synchronize, and now I have 2 servers available. Okay, that's it's important. Now the first servers will be in the domain 1, image and shape. Okay, here we'll select our image. By the default, this is the AMD server with Linux 8. Let's try. Okay, the AMD server has 1 CPU and 1 GB memory. Let's see if we can set up this as Ampere server. Let's select Ampere server. We're selecting the always field eligible, and we're gonna use 1 OCPU and 6 GB memory. Okay, we have up to 4 OCPU that if we'll be able, if we're doing just 2 servers, that we can set this for 2 and 12 GB. Okay, let's see. Networking. In networking, we'll set up where we want this server to be. Means we are selecting the VCN and we're selecting the public subnet. Okay, why I'm selecting the public subnet for this exercise? Because I need the public IP address to access directly to this server. If you're gonna build the real servers for the production access, you want this be behind the public access. You want this server to be in the private network. Okay, IP address. Okay, we want assign the public IP address. We want to have a public address, and private address will be 10.10.5.21. I want this for the first server, and then host name DB1. The DNS will be provided by Oracle DNS service, that you can communicate between each server using the Oracle DNS service. okay, and SSH. Those servers which will be built, you can access only using the RSS key. And here you have an option to download the key which Oracle provide, or create your own key and then paste that key. That I prepare already key. I use the put key gen and I generate my private key and public key. That I will just pass here my public key. Boot volume, by the default, the server have a 50 gigs space that we're gonna use the 50 gigs. For this exercise, we're going to install the MySQL server and set up the test database. Everything will be on the default size server. If you're building the server which you want to be as a production server, you want to creating the additional data storage, attach that data storage, and then put data on that data storage. Okay, this will be the part of the additional training. Advanced option. We can have the cloud script that you can prepare the script which you want to be executed when you're creating that server. For example, like here we can do the yum update, yum install MySQL server. But with this, I want to go step by step that I can show you how you building this before we're gonna go into more advanced situation like building this everything through that script. Oracle Cloud Agent. Oracle is monitoring your servers and doing the Oracle scan, Oracle updates, and here you have an option to set what plugins you want to have enabled. Vulnerability scan, Java management service, OS service, as well as Bastion, which allow you to SSH connection to this direct SSH connection to the servers which are in the private network. Okay, I'm leaving this. Actually, I don't know if the vulnerability scanning is enabling on the always free tier, but let's plug this in and we can see this later on how this looks like. Okay, then now, so far we set up the information for our first server, and now let's click create. Okay, let's say, okay, we are out of the capacity. Let's create a which is specific for domain. Let's try again. Okay, San Jose is in San Jose at this moment. We don't have available ARM servers, but okay, you saw the process of setting up and creating the ARM server. That at this moment I'm gonna use the AMD server. Okay, now I have to use the previous generation as I'm using the always free tier. If you are updated user, then you can select the other versions of the servers. Okay, select the shape. Okay, that I changed this to my micro and create. Okay, and now the servers will be creating. As we're waiting for this server to be created, let's set up our second server. Okay, we're gonna call this db2. Placement show. Okay, now we want to set up this in, for example, for domain 3. Shape, Oracle Linux micro. networking, database public network, assign the public IP, private IP 10 10.10.5.22, host name db2, and my private key, my public key boot volume, the custom, like migration, show advanced, I'm not changing nothing here, and create. And like you see, it took just a couple minutes to create the server. And I have two servers. Now let's see if we can connect to those servers. DB1 and DB2. We're going to use the putty to make the connection to servers. Then now let's use the first IP address. By the default, the servers are running on port 22, that we're using the all default configuration, and the user is OPC. And authentication, credentials, private key authentication, and we're using our demo key. This is the important step where you're setting up your connection and you're defining your user, which is gonna do the connection, as well as your credential, which you're putting your private key in this configuration here. Let's go back to session and name this session as DB1, and I'm gonna call this as a port 22. Save it. Now if I'm gonna open this right now, I'm getting the alert, you have accept. I make the connection to this server. That now we have a freshly created the database. We're just creating the virtual cloud network and created two servers, and that and we are able to make the connectivity to this server. That we have one server, and now let's log into second server. Second server IP address. DB2. Save. Open. We got also the alert that the keys are not stored yet. Now we're accepting that key, and we have a second connection.